Story 1. 10. 4K. R. Malicious Compliance. Posted by You, Meekly Enthusiasm. 17 hours ago. Entire class skips optional early start to lab. We were given an hour for lunch and we're going to take all of our time. MOC. TLDR. Surgeons wants us to come to a lab scheduled for 12 and hour early at 11. As a class, we decided to come at 12. Got reprimanded. Then the dean backed us up. I'm a second-year veterinary student. This is the time when we start our live surgery labs. We work in teams of 3 students, a surgeon, an assistant, an anesthetist, and are obviously overseen by certified specialists, anesthesiologists and surgeons, and many experienced vet nurses as well. We have lectures 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Lunch is 11 to 12. Our lab begins at 12 p.m. sharp. However, we were told we have the option to come to lab early and begin. It became very clear after the first week this is an expectation, not an option, that we will skip lunch or eat during lecture and come straight to the OR. During one lab, at 11:50 a.m., the anesthesiologist yelled at a student for a few minutes in the pharmacy area while getting drugs for lab, for not having his patient ready and waiting in the induction room. 10 minutes for lab even begins. And this group was set to induce during the last wave, normally 1-to-1. 5+ hours into lab. There's no reason to be an hour early when your group is final wave. Being on time is sufficient. And they were actually still early. Our class has been getting berated by this anesthesiologist as well as some of the surgeons in this lab. Just as one example, a student surgeon asked for help. A surgical resident came over from another patient to help. And she was now not sterile. The resident told the student she was holding her forceps wrong, proceeded to grab them from her hands, and then made the student leave her patient on the table to re-scrub, re-gown, and re-glove, and open a new instrument pack. All because she wanted to ask a question. This is a common technique they will use on us when we've done something incorrect to get us to remember it next time. Quote, "Well, the entire class is fed up with this. Our class called a meeting about it. And we all decided we are all going to start showing up to lab at 11:50 to 11:55 a.m. Only 5 to 10 minutes early. Not for petty reasons either. But it's a matter of patient safety as well. Several students have fainted from skipping lunch to go and operate instead. We were given 11 to 12 for lunch and we're going to take all of our time. So, that's what we did. At 11:40 a.m. one of the surgeons came to our lecture hall, where the majority of us stay and eat lunch, and asked us why we're not in lab yet. A student at the front of the room said simply, "Lab begins at 12 noon. The surgeon gave us a long spell about professionalism and how we are being inappropriate and putting our patients at risk. And she left. The OR is a 2-minute walk from the lecture hall. So we finished lunch and all showed up around 11:55. The clinicians were very mad about it and reported our class to the dean. And so the dean called a school-wide meeting about it. Some of our classmates spoke eloquently about our reasons and our actual patient safety concern, turning it right back on the clinicians, citing patient safety. And the school claims to care immensely about student mental health, since this profession has one of the highest suicide rates and our own class even suffered a loss. And cutting our break, lunch is no way to support us. Beyond that, the schedule says we begin at 12. And we are still showing up a few minutes early to ensure we can begin right at 12. Ultimately, the dean just released a statement saying they cannot force us to begin lab an hour early. And we will start at 12 when the dean's office scheduled lab to begin. It's a small win for us. Certainly we will face backlash. But we have a break to eat at least. Our class is known for not putting up with BS from the school. We got a dinosaur of a professor fired for racist comments she made to a student in the middle of lecture. After she had terrorized students at this school for decades. She forgot out lectures were automatically recorded on Zoom during COVID. Were hated by the clinicians. But at least the classes behind us are having a slightly better time. Edit. About the fainting thing. Yes. From skipping a single meal, most healthy adults should NT faint. Add on top of that the mental stress of operating for the first few times. The heat from the surgical lights. Being covered head to toe in a non-breathable sterile barrier which traps in your body heat. A mask putting that heat back on your face. Having to stand relatively still in one place for hours. No access to water for hours. You can't move your arms out of the sterile field, so limited, no stretching. Plus the sight of blood being a common trigger of vasovagal syncope. And you have plenty of light-headed or fainting students. Skipping food is added insult to injury. When you last ate at 6 a.m. It's now 4 p.m. You haven't had water since noon. And you're overheating. And stressed. Not to mention vet school is a concentration of type A high-achieving perfectionists with chronic stress from constant high-stakes exams. Fail you're out of the program. Some of which are right before you go off into operating or maybe occurring the next day. Rampant anxiety and depression. Sleep deprivation from our schedule and or insomnia. I know. Several classmates with disordered eating or full-blown EDS. It's not merely an isolated incident of skipping lunch one time. 379 comments. Award. Share. Save. 280 people here. If you're enjoying this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Story 2. $4. 3K. Malicious Compliance. Posted by you, Theodora 86. 1 day ago. Thousands of euro for the damaged car. MOC. In my home country, living abroad now. The gas station have people who will your tank for you. It's not optional. These people are paid to put fuel in your tank. That's it. I was one of them during my college years. The fuel we had at the station was unleaded benzene 95, 98 and 100. And diesel. One day, a regular customer came over. He was a taxi driver. I had seen him before. Both with his taxi car. A Mercedes. And his private car. An Audi. The Mercedes was a diesel car and the Audi was benzene. Keep in mind, back then, every taxi in the country was running with diesel. That day, he came with the taxi. I've noticed he was a bit out of it but didn't comment on it. I asked how much he wants in the tank. He said, full. Unleaded 100. I looked at him strangely. You mean diesel? No. I mean unleaded 100. But sir, you have the ... I didn't get the chance to point out he was driving his taxi. He goes, young girl. Please. I know what fuel my car needs. I looked at him one more time. I was getting pissed at that point. Okay, sir. Full tank unleaded 100. Is that correct? Yes. Thank you. Right away. And I proceed to put unleaded 100 in his diesel car. He paid and left. 2 days later. He comes again on my shift with his Audi this time. I go out to greet him, trying not to laugh at his face. What it's gonna be today, sir? Diesel? I asked, trying to bite my tongue. He eyed me carefully. Unleaded 100. Please. Full tank, are you sure? I asked and he side-checked his car. Yes. Thank you. Right away. Sir. I fill his tank and as he was paying he adds, next time. I would appreciate it if you told me I was being an idiot and put in the correct gas on the tank. He said seriously, but I could see the humor in his eyes. Was the damage that much? I asked. He groaned. You have no idea Have a good day. And he left. I never found out what was the cost of the damage but for my duration at that gas station. When I was the one loading his car, he always would go like full tank. Please. Without saying what kind. 322 comments. Award. Share. Save. 13 people here. If you're enjoying this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Story 3. $7. 6K. R. Malicious Compliance. Posted by you, Able Relationship 6808. 2 days ago. Want us to look for problems to repair? Okay. Well, look for problems and repair them. MOC. This happens when I worked at the post office years ago. I was one of about 40 mechanics and electronic technicians on the 3:00 p.m. to 11:30 shift, whose job it was to fix the machines used to process mail. It was a huge facility with thousands of people working there. This may not seem believable today, but first-class mail had to be received, processed and shipped out within 24 hours. Letters and packages start arriving in the afternoon. Sacks of letters and packages are placed on conveyor belts. Stamped mail is cancelled. All mail sorted on machines, placed in trays for shipment to their destination, and placed on trucks for shipment directly to the destination post office or the airport. Mail came between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. and went out around 5 a.m. Up to 2.5 million stamped letters per day during Christmas, but usually around 600K, plus metered mail and parcels. Every weekday. Our job was basically to sit around, wait for something to break, and fix it ASAP so it would run to the end of the shift. The day shift could do a more permanent fix if necessary. That was our job. Wait for some machinery to break and fix it. We sat in small groups near our machines and read, gossiped or did whatever. One day, some big wig saw us and didn't like us sitting around doing nothing. Word came from on high and we were told to patrol our areas and fix the broken equipment. Our chairs were taken away so we could not sit down. Now comes the malicious compliance. We did as we were told. We patrolled the building. If anyone saw something broken, we shut down the equipment and fixed it. According to safety regulations, we were required to lock out the power source with our individual padlocks and rope off the area. Hey, you 50 clerks. You need to move from under this conveyor belt so we can replace it. Of course. That disables part of the 6-mile-long system. So productivity is lost. Letter sorting machines with 14 clerks are shut down for minor repairs. Stamp cancelling machines. The same. Productivity slumped and hundreds of clerks were required to work overtime that night and morning to make up for equipment being shut down for repairs. I'm sure the first night it cost tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in overtime. After 3 days, our chairs returned and it was business as usual. 284 comments. Award. Share. Save. 12 people here. If you're enjoying this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Story 4. $3. 8K. R. Malicious Compliance. Posted by you, Sauron's Pineapples. 2 days ago. No work from home for a sick intern. Now everyone works from home. Sock. Long-time lurker. So please pardon me for formatting errors. I don't usually post. The stories here reminded me of my internship experience in January 2022. Despite COVID still raging all around, restrictions were being lifted. My internship office had a strict work from office policy, even though all our work can easily be done online. In the first week of January 2022, I developed cold symptoms. I immediately informed my team lead and senior associate, and requested permission to work from home. This wasn't even a request for time off since I was an intern eagerly trying to impress. My senior associate decided to have none of it. Being the brilliant manager, don't ask me about the management hierarchy. There isn't one, that he was. He refused to allow work from home. Everyone, including interns, must be in the office during work hours. COVID wasn't a concern because according to him, they would closely watch my symptoms by checking my temperature throughout the day. Note: I took paracetamols to control my temperature until my COVID test results came in while all this was happening. Nothing to be done. I complied. 2 evenings later, my COVID test returned positive. Because of exposure, everyone had to work from home for the next 2 weeks. Turns out more people were also positive at the same time. While everyone had to return to the office in February, interns were expressly instructed to work from home for another month. Edit. Formatting and sentence indicating compliance. 224 comments. Award. Share. Sava, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on.